In the voice of Vincent Kennedy McMahon, welcome to Great Balls of... I can't do it. I can't do it with a straight face. I can't do it with a straight face. It makes me laugh. That is the worst name Vince could have came up with. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. It is so freaking ridiculous. And you see the symbol for Great Balls of Fire. If I can get the shot of it. Dude, come on. Jerry Lee Lewis has got to be happy, but it's stupid. But I will give them an A for at least they tried to sell it. I will say this. In the beginning of the main show, not talking about the kickoff, they tried to make this feel like if anyone has ever been to a drive-in movie theater. Now, I personally never went to one because by the time I was a little kid, majority of them were gone. But there were movies that were made that was for the drive-in movie, and I had saw them as a little kid. So it did try to have that kind of feel. So I will give them A for effort in that respect. But it wasn't great. But still, it was an effort I will give them props for. Now, let's get to this. The kickoff show. Oh, well, Akira Kazawa, if I'm pronouncing this guy's name properly since I don't watch 205 Live, and Neville. Let's be honest here, ladies and gentlemen. It didn't feel like anything because Austin Aries was not there. Look, I'm saying this for Austin Aries. I've watched him for many years now. Since he came on around 2011 in Impact Wrestling. And the one thing, I said, what, 11 or 12 he came in. But the thing I learned about Austin Aries, he's got huge amounts of charisma. He has huge amounts of mic skills. He's also good in the ring. And can tell a story. But I'm not seeing him as just a good wrestler. And I know a lot of people care about him as a good wrestler. I saw him as an all-around wrestler. He had 4 tools of the trade. He didn't have the size, even though he was cut. He was a small guy. But everything else, he hit the mark. He hit the mark with charisma. He hit the mark with, when it came to mic skills, he could tell a story in the ring. He was a ring general to a certain extent. I believed he was very good in the ring. And he could lead the match. And now he's gone. It made me feel very upset. He could have easily been taken out of 205 Live, put to the US or IC title. And he would have made something of it. He could have been another Miz. Easily. A guy you wouldn't think would get over because where he came from Impact Wrestling and ROH and New Japan Pro Wrestling. Like The Miz, no one really think anything about Austin Aries, even though they did promote him to a certain extent. I believe he could have hit as high as The Miz, and he should have. But anyway, what did we get for this match? It wasn't a bad match, but it was no Austin Aries. And then seeing that Akira Tozawa started talking to Titus O'Neil saying, I want justice, I want a rematch. He said, don't worry, I got you. I got your back. That made me feel, okay, 205 Live match. Stupid. It needs to be a SummerSlam match. It needs to be built up into a SummerSlam match. It needs to be promoted like a SummerSlam match, but it won't be, so why do I care? I'm sorry. I don't hate Neville. I really believe he's done very good as champion of the Cruiserweights. I believe Akira Tozawa is not a bad talent. But if you're not going to do anything with them and actually promote them on the pay-per-views that mean something, why do I care? Now, first match. Bray versus Seth Rollins. Look, I knew that no matter what happened, Bray would not gain anything from this. And I know a lot of people would say, well, great, Bray won his match. It was a good match. Bray won it. Seth Rollins lost. Yay! Who cares? Look. Bray's been on the roster already. How many years? 4 years. He had one of the best gimmicks we've seen in a decade. Other than The Undertaker, Mankind, and Kane. Not talking about Heidenreich and not talking about the Boogeyman, who he got over pretty well himself. But it was totally different. And they buried it. Right now, this is what I want from Bray Wyatt. I may actually do a video on it. Bray Wyatt needs to turn to Blackjack Mulligan, his grandfather. He needs to become a cowboy. I really believe he needs to become a cowboy. It makes better sense. He won that match, but he gained nothing. He did. He's not the eater of worlds. He's not a god. Every time when he goes down that route, maybe he'll win once, and then he gets buried. So what's the point? Now, the next match I'm going to talk about is the IC title match with The Miz and, I'm about to say Daniel Bryan, I'm sorry, Dean Ambrose. And these with Daniel Bryan, he had a character that he worked on, and he did a lot of good work. What do you get with Dean Ambrose? What do you get for Dean Ambrose? Literally, he doesn't care anymore. He, at one point, the first 2 years of him being on the main roster, roughly the first 2 years, I say a year and a half after he'd been on the main roster, he really cared about his character. He really worked at it. But the minute he got some fame, what did he do? Become complacent, become compliant, and he didn't give a damn anymore. This match was boring. And the worst thing that pissed me off, the worst, he refused to sell his knee injury. The Miz worked on that knee. The Miz made that knee look important. But then Dean Ambrose refused to sell that knee injury. Refused to sell anything from The Miz. I'm glad The Miz won, but what did it matter? Because it was stupid for him to even go up against. I wanted to see him go up against Heath Slater. And I'll get to that in a moment. But I do want to say one more thing about Bray Wyatt. I'd rather see Bray Wyatt right now turn to a cowboy and work with his brother, Bo Dallas. Let's be honest. Bo's not really doing much, even with the Miz Taraj. I want to see Bo Dallas work with his brother. Now, Kurt Hawkins versus Heath Slater. Now, the only reason I'm doing this now because I'm doing it separate. It deserves to be by itself. Look, I felt sorry for Heath Slater. Because I felt that what would have been interesting was that Heath Slater go after The Miz. Because Heath Slater is very charismatic. I've always liked Heath Slater, even though people didn't like the one-man band. I always felt that he was something that would actually work. And then he gets stuck with working with Kurt Hawkins. A guy that's just been used to bury upon burial on top of himself. He's been jobbed out so many times, he's a freaking zombie. And it was terrible to see he had to work with him. And it was worse that they cut away from him. And then they announced over the loudspeaker that he won the match. It just was so sad. Now, Alexa Bliss versus Sasha Banks. Let's be honest here. Was it a good match? It was. Would you enjoy this match if I recommended it? You would. It was a decently good match between the two. In the end, Sasha did not win, which I think was the wisest thing to do. But here's the problem. Even though the match was actually pretty good, Sasha sold decently well. There were moments he didn't sell that well, or maybe oversold it. And then Alexa Bliss didn't really sell that much, but she didn't work that bad. The problem is this. I don't believe that this is helping the women's division at all. You got 7 women, I think, on Raw. And you feel like, what? Do you feel like this is incredible wrestling from the women? Incredible storytelling from the women? No, it's not. You need the women to actually struggle and have something interesting. I know a lot of people say, you stupid. But I'm going to say it. You need Nia Jax as champion. I would rather see Karma come back to the WWE and take that position. Or Mickie James. If there was no Nia Jax, the best person to run that entire division would be a Mickie James. But Mickie James is not the biggest woman there. It is Nia Jax. So I'd rather see a large, inexperienced woman as champ who destroys the women periodically. To make the women scared, to make the women doubt themselves, where they have to fight and struggle and exercise and work. You can make a real good story with at least 2 to 3 of these women working in the back, exercising, working with the trainers, finding a way to get better, finding a way to win. As it stands now, when they did the gauntlet, why do you care? These women do nothing. I want to see Nia Jax as champ, or at least a large woman as champ, so the women would have to struggle, because they're not struggling now. You don't really got to struggle. You got Alexa Bliss cheating. She got a count out win. Clever way to do it, but still, it didn't really mean much. Now, I might as well get this over with right now. The 30-minute Iron Man tag match. Cesaro and Sheamus versus the Hardys. This was the third best match of the night. I'm not going to lie. It was the third best match. As it stands as a match, it was the third best. As it stands as a story, it's not the best at all. And even though it was kind of cool to see that the Hardys jobbed 30 seconds in, and then they had to struggle to try and get back, and at the last moment, Cesaro gets that last win, going 4-3. That was pretty good as a match. But as it stands for story, it sucks. Look. I'm not against Cesaro and Sheamus. They're working with the hand they've been dealt with. They're benefiting from it. They're basically jobbing out the Hardys for them. They're going to take it. But here's the problem. You pulled in, WWE, two of the hottest men in tag wrestling. Matt Hardy, who was the hottest guy that had been spoken around the wrestling circuit in years, and his brother Jeff. And you've done nothing with them. You've given them no storylines. Yes, you give them somewhat of a feud, but then it's not one of the best feuds. Yeah, you let them do some really good matches, but then they got nothing that makes them relevant. They're no better than the freaking Dudleys a couple of years ago. When the Dudleys came back, there was a huge pop, and people were really interested in seeing what they're going to do with the Dudleys. Now, they had some work with the Usos, which wasn't too bad, but then they did nothing after that. They were considered a joke, and then they both left. So you're going to do this with the Hardys? You're basically going to leave them as they are? You're not going to give them no storyline. You're not going to do anything with them. You won't even turn them heel? You give them this. Just one very good match. That's the first one in history. Means nothing. If after the match is over, you give them what? Another match with Cesaro and Sheamus again? Another 30-man Iron Man match? Or a steel cage match again? Or a Hell in a Cell match? What would it mean if there's no story behind it? It pisses me off. Enzo and Cass. I gotta get this over with now. It was a waste. The right person won. Don't get me wrong. Cass had to win. I've said this already, and I mean it. You're going to break up two guys that are really charismatic together, that still had at least another year or two. They could have held this entire persona of the certified G for these 2 more years. That's how over they were. I think at least another year to a year and a half, honestly. But they could have stretched it maybe to 2 years before it really got tiring. But at least easily another year. Easily. Easily 2 years they could have had of this. And they broke them up. And I've said this already. If they did not make this special, it was a waste of time. And instead of just not having the match now, have it at SummerSlam, promote it, cultivate it, build it some more, make it even more interesting for Kaz to want to show how great he is. Let him work on his mic skills. Let him work on showing how tough and great he is. And then getting more sympathy for Enzo. Showing that Enzo is such a great face. Showing that he's a great talker. Showing that he has a lot of emotion. No. Yeah, you build it up for a month. You give it barely a week or two. And then you do this. Kaz destroys Enzo. Throws him out of the ring. Beats him. So now what? You get the same thing again? Enzo tries to get back at Kaz again. Beats him up. But then it doesn't really mean much. Even if he does get over on Kaz. They didn't give it time. You could have made this special at SummerSlam. No. I don't care now. Those two were very important to me. I liked them. And now I don't care now. Doesn't mean I don't like them. It just means I don't care what happens to that feud. It's done for me. Now, now where am I? I just finished Enzo and Kaz. Cesaro and Sheamus. Heath Slater. Trying to remember if I'm forgetting anything, ladies and gentlemen. I don't want to forget. Alright. Samoa Joe versus Brock Lesnar. If I'm forgetting a match, and I don't believe I am, I'm sorry. But let's be honest here. This should have been the focus of the entire show. And it was not the focus of the entire show. It wasn't. What happens at the end of my review is the focus of the show, which kind of took away from this. Let's be honest. You had a good match. Seeing that Samoa Joe attacked Brock Lesnar beforehand makes sense for Samoa Joe. Then seeing in the very beginning how rough and how physical it was, kind of like how MMA was actually kind of good. Admittedly, they both kind of tanked pretty quickly. They both looked like they kind of tanked a little bit. But the point of the matter is, it was actually a good match. I was invested in seeing it. I really believed that Samoa Joe was going to win. And I do kind of believe Samoa Joe should have won. Because let's be honest now, what is going to happen with Brock Lesnar? The only person I've seen in years that could have actually taken him on and made it important was the Samoa Joe. Not Goldberg, because Goldberg, we knew was a good chance he wasn't going to stay. I said I hoped he would stay and go to SmackDown. But he only stayed for a little while and then he left. Samoa Joe is the highest and best heel they got in the company right now that is active. He is. He looks like a true badass. And instead of making it like a count out or some type of double disqualification, something that could bring them back together again, you end it. You end it. And I truly felt you could have stretched this to SummerSlam. You could have made some type of controversy that would have said, look, I did win, but guess what? They had to cheat to get me off it. I would have liked to see Samoa Joe almost win and Brock Lesnar had to cheat to survive. Or some type of count out or disqualification by accident on both sides. I truly believe that would have been better. Sorry, it's noisy. But I truly believe that would have helped the company. Because as it stands, you keep the title on Brock Lesnar. It's not really being defended. Unless something special is going to happen at SummerSlam. He just did this. I don't even know if he's going to come back at SummerSlam. He should. But what is he going to do? He's going to go after Braun Strowman? Or is he going to go after Roman Reigns? Because Braun Strowman's hurt. And I'll explain that in a minute. At least that's the way it looked. But they really rushed this. And they weren't willing to capitalize on it. Now, final match I'm going to talk about, which is the only focus of the show. The Braun Strowman's push. Oh my gosh, this was the best match of the night. It was. It wasn't just because of the physicality of it and the storytelling of it and how the crowd really responded to it. It was about the ending and how it had really given Braun Strowman something we didn't expect. Sympathy. The urge to be a full, true face. And the hopes that now the WWE willing to understand they need to turn Roman Reigns heel. Hopefully this is the beginnings of them understanding, look, now they really want to boo him. And maybe if we really see that he is the best to be booed, let's just throw him as a damn heel and see what it is, because people are booing him as it is. So in the end, Braun Strowman wins the match. He throws him in there. Hits the side of the ambulance, but the ambulance doesn't go. Then he opens the door to Roman Reigns, gets angry, knocks Braun Strowman into the ambulance, drives away with it, looks into the rearview mirror like, I'm gonna fucking kill this guy. He beat me a gun. He beat me up a gun. I'm not taking it. You're trying to go that way. And he crashes the ambulance into one of these tractor trailers. They call in the police department. Well, they call in the fire department, but basically the police department is supposed to be called anyway. And then the Heath Slater and Kurt Hawkins match was called out to try and fill in some time, as you can see from the image. And then Braun Strowman is finally released with the jaws of life. And then he comes out bloodied in the face, cut up on the arms, cut up anywhere else, and he staggers away. That, my friends, is 100% how you get sympathy for a face. You see now clearly who's the heel, and you now see clearly who's the face. Roman Reigns is a true heel now. Now, if the WWE is stupid from this moment on and still tries to promote him as a good guy, they've lost their mind. They've lost it. They lost their mind because they just did something that easily transitioned both of these guys into positions that the people truly want. The people want to cheer Braun Strowman, and they want to boo Roman Reigns. But you have Braun Strowman as the bad heel, the evil guy in the black hat. And then you got Roman Reigns, the good guy wearing the white hat. And now with this one action, you flip the script. Now if they understand what they done and not renege or get scared, they don't want to mess up what's going to happen in WrestleMania 34 and just flip Roman Reigns back to being a face again within about a month or two, they got something very good. They got something people are really going to despise him for. But that's still a question of what's going to happen this Raw. My guess is probably the opening of the show will be with Roman Reigns. He's got to explain himself. Or maybe at the end. I'm hoping not in the middle. But my guess is Roman Reigns will have to explain himself. And I'm hoping it will be a heel promo. Because after seeing this, it has to be. But this is just my point of view. I hope you enjoy this. Come. Goodness gracious, great balls of I had to have that. I'm going to find that thing. If I didn't find it, I'm going to put some in my face. I don't care. I had to do that because I can't stand. I had to laugh. But I hope you enjoyed this Great Balls of Fire review. Please give me a comment below. Have a good day. Have a good night. And watch for, I think I'm going to do a video after this. 2 videos actually. Watch for them. If I don't do it, I'm sorry. But I think I'm going to try and do one. Have a good day. Have a good night.